What's going on, everybody? Jack here from Half Chrome, and this is the Potensic Atom, not the Atom SE. There's a very big difference between these two very popular drones that you can buy on Amazon, and this is absolutely the better of the two, and the difference is right here. You see that? This is a camera, a 4K camera on a 3-axis gimbal. That means it's going to stabilize the footage for you. So if you don't have a gimbal, the footage ends up being really shaky. The gimbal here is the device that smooths it out for you. There are a handful of things that I really do like about this drone, and one thing that I think holds it back from being the perfect buy for you. What do you think that is? Leave a comment down below. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so let me tell you the things you want to know about this tiny little drone. And the first is it is less than 250 grams. That means it is not subject to remote ID, and you do not have to register it in the United States. Those are two really big bonuses. That said, I don't think any of that matters if the camera isn't any good, and this camera actually is pretty darn good. Now, it's not a professional grade camera, but it's gonna be more than good enough for most people. Now, this drone has a range of up to 6,000 meters. That's just shy of 4 miles. And we've got a flight time of 32 minutes. But we're not done there. This drone has a handful of intelligent flight modes. We've got the return to home, we've got an orbit, we've got up and away, we've got active track, follow me. There's a lot of really good things built into this drone. Now, this thing up front looks kind of like a sensor, but it is not. This does not have obstacle avoidance, although it does have some sensors and a camera on the bottom to help with stability. Now, it will record your footage on board via an SD card, and that's pretty darn important. Some drones will record to your phone. Now, you can record to your phone also, but always get the footage off the SD card. That's where it's best. Now, the remote that you use is pretty unique. You fold up the antennas, you stick your phone kind of here in the middle, plugs in, and then you can go ahead and fly. We've got a record button here, picture button here. We've got a gimbal dial, your on and off button, and then your return to home or pause flight modes. Make sure you know where this button is at all times. I can even pull the sticks off and store them inside the controller so that they don't get broken when I'm transporting the drone. And speaking of transporting the drone, Potensic ships it with this bag here, which is actually pretty darn nice. I've got plenty of room. The drone goes inside of this padded pouch, room for my controller, charger, and other accessories. Now, I opted for the Fly More combo, which means I have 3 batteries. I've got 2 in here, 1 in the drone. They charge in this nice little hub, which is super convenient. I even have a USB out, so if I need to charge, say, my cell phone, I can use these batteries to do that. Now, the specs I quoted at the beginning, 6,000 meters and 32 minutes, those are perfect conditions, right? That is what the manufacturer Potensic says that they can get, and I don't doubt that they could, but you're not going to, right? You're not flying in perfect conditions. You don't have everything set up. You're not going to fly the drone until it literally falls out of the sky. That's what it's going to take to get 32 minutes. So just kind of keep in mind, you know, expect 80% of those numbers on a good day, and that's about where you're going to be. Now, you really do want to fly with that drone in your visual line of sight. Don't get it too far away from you. You have to be able to see at all times. That is a rule here in the United States and in most countries. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the video coming out of this drone. Then I'm going to talk to you about the thing that I'm not super convinced about. So one of the features of the Potensic Atom here is active track, and basically you're going to draw a box around your subject. You're going to click a little button, make sure that it's within the the right parameters. You have to set the drone at a certain height, you have to set the gimbal at a certain angle, and of course you have to make sure that you are far away from any obstacles. There's no obstacle avoidance on this drone, so you have to make sure of that. And I was having a few issues with it losing me. So I reached out to Potensic and they said, part of the issue is they are still working on updating the firmware. So this feature should get better in the future, right? So that's nice. That's nice that they're constantly working to improve the drone. Another issue they said that I might have had here was I'm wearing green on green grass, so that makes it difficult for the drone. So I thought, I'll give it another try. I'll throw on a little red vest here and I'll see if it does a little bit better. And it does do a little bit better. It's still limited as an active track feature, right? The drone is basically just following me without moving, right? So it's just kind of yawing and turning around. It's not just gonna fly around, and that's actually kind of nice because then it's not going to hit a tree. So while the active track is not perfect, I'm excited to see it get improved in future releases of the firmware. Now, another thing that I think is a little understated about this drone is actually the charger, right? I love being able to charge 3 batteries at once. It just saves so much time. I can't believe that other drone manufacturers don't do this. Okay, remember I said there was something I didn't like about this drone. Did you guess what it is? Okay, so what do you think it is? Did you guess? Well, it's the price. And I think $289 is fair. It's a fair price for this drone. You can get the Fly More combo, the 3 batteries, for $389, less than $400, and that's not a bad deal. But at that price point, there are a handful of other options that you really need to consider. For almost $100 less, you can get the Seafly Faith Mini, the original, not the second version, and it's a very similar drone. I don't know that the quality is quite as good, but you're gonna save about $100. For about $340, you can opt for the DJI Mini SE, and I think the camera on this is better. I think this is a really intuitive drone and something you need to consider. And then for just under $500, you can get the DJI Mini 3 or Mini 4 Pro. That's going to be closer to $700. All of these other options I'm mentioning, they are all sub 250 gram drones. None of them need to be registered. None of them require remote ID. You have to kind of decide which one is the best one for you. Is it the Potensic? That's a decision that you're going to have to make. I think this is a fine drone, a good drone for a beginner, but for those that need the best video quality, I think I'd probably take a step up to the DJI Mini 3 or the 4 Pro. That is the best drone under 250 grams. It is, of course, a lot more expensive. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. If you're planning to get a drone and fly professionally, you need a Part 107 license. The good news is I've got all sorts of information to help you get prepared. Links in the video description down below. Good luck, everyone, and happy flying.